This segment brought to you by Kansas Regenerative Medicine Center. Your stem cells, your health, your life. We're back again.
So have you been through one of the corn mazes, Frank? Have you done that?
Well, in the break, we were kind of talking about corn mazes, and the one up in Mitchell, Iowa came up, and we took a going across North Dakota or South Dakota vacation once and stopped there. And of course, the Corn Palace, they change it every year. If you've seen it this year, it'll be different next year. But there is a corn maze in that, and it's absolutely fascinating.
Well, the whole idea of a maze is fascinating. And it's, what appeals to people about being lost? I mean, you watch the whole rat going through a maze and can he figure his way? So what is it that appeals to us that we want to be in that situation, like the little rat running around trying to find his way out? But there's just something about it that is captivating, and it just captures your imagination. And the corn maze, I actually did lose my way in a real cornfield one time. And of course, being vertically challenged myself, the corn didn't have to be real high for it to be a challenge to me. But in a real cornfield, the corn is really close together. You don't have to go very far to get lost.
Huh.
You really don't. And if it's 10 or 12 feet high, if the sun's not where you can tell, it was scary. I have to say, I was a kid, and it kind of freaked me out. So I've not been brave enough to do a corn maze, I have to admit.
Have you seen the picture of the old people's corn maze on Facebook?
Yes.
One stalk of corn. That's about true.
And one of my friends said, hey, I'd be there like for hours, like, where do we start? Yeah. Much less find our way out. Where do we start? And then another friend said, oh, I thought that was for blondes. So blondes, old people.
Oh my, isn't Facebook wonderful?
It is. So with all the corn mazes this time of year, let's take a look at the history of the maze.
Although the true origins of the maze probably go back to Neolithic times, the earliest mazes we know of were actually parts of architectural monuments built in Egypt and on Crete about 4,000 years ago. The most impressive of these architectural mazes were probably part of the Egyptian labyrinth, a vast palace complex located on the shores of a lake 7 days' journey up the Nile from the pyramids. The labyrinth was built by Pharaoh Amenemhet III in the 19th century BC. It consisted of thousands of rooms and 12 large maze-like courtyards, which were probably intended to keep out unwelcome visitors. Amenemhet was fascinated by mazes, and he also created a fantastic life-size maze inside his nearby pyramid to thwart tomb robbers. According to the only two ancient historians who saw it with their own eyes, the Egyptian labyrinth was more impressive than the pyramids at Giza. Although archaeologists have found the site it once stood upon, nothing of this mysterious monument remains today. Another well-known architectural maze may have been found at the Minoan Palace at Knossos on Crete. Built around the same time as the Egyptian labyrinth, Knossos was a vast interconnected complex of small corridors, staircases, and private courts, and once consisted of perhaps 1,300 rooms spread over 3 acres of land. Spiral and labyrinth designs on coins and pottery, as well as hundreds of bullhorns carved in stone and wall paintings of young men leaping and charging over bulls, can be found at the site. These are intriguing clues, since according to Greek legend, the Minotaur was a half-man and half-bull monster trapped within a labyrinth. Gives you a whole new appreciation for the corn maze, doesn't it? Fort Wallace was the fightingest fort in the West. Fossils, Indians, soldiers, scouts, wagons, trails, pioneers, stories. Discover the story of Fort Wallace and the people who served here, the people who fought here, the people who settled here. Wallace County, where the past is present.